Warning. The following video contains strong language that some viewers may find offensive or disturbing.
You're Satan and your goal is to torment Gordon Ramsay. What food would you serve him? Just one microwaved hot dog on a slice of wheat bread and ketchup, but the gross watery part with very little regular ketchup. Instead of that, Amy's baking company is revived and actually becomes successful, even expanding to a location near him. Everyone talks about how great it is and how he was wrong about it. Then he is convinced to try going there again, and the owners haven't changed at all, while everyone around him insists that everything is great. That would be a serious WTF moment for him, as that was the first restaurant he ever walked out on in his shows. And having everyone insist they are great while nothing has changed would be a special kind of torture. A perfectly executed scallop risotto. But it sat on the pass for too long and it's been reheated in the microwave for 15 seconds. I am generally a front of house worker. This entire thread hurt me. But this comment. This broke me. Whatever he asks for, expertly prepared, without a grain of salt. This is exactly what I thought. Everything is absolutely perfect, but there's no salt. Ramsay would see that the protein is cooked perfectly and draped over the most fabulous of garnishes, and it isn't seasoned. Being who he is, he'd bring it up. Sorry, we're trying to keep our blood pressure down, so we avoid using salt in the food. Next comes the soup. A fragrant aroma rises from a brisk medley of seasonal ingredients, all prepared and combined with skill and precision that can only be described as art. But it's bland bekwase, there's no salt. This continues for years, decades, centuries even, every dish completely perfect except for the lack of salt. Ramsay is a broken man. Finally, ants on a log. In his entire life, he never saw a better stock of celery, or peanut butter made with so much care. Better yet, celery has salt in it. There's no way to get around it. Salted fondant. Oh man, I just imagined biting into something expecting celery and getting fondant, and I'm having a hard time coming to terms with the massive contrast in textures. It's like eating a cookie and expecting a chocolate chip and getting a raisin. But dialed up 11. Spam, straight from the can, room temperature and extra juicy. Nothing else. Actually, a side of leftover, twice microwaved, unsalted, ketchup-drenched fries would be appropriate. Microwaved lettuce. Edit, thanks for the gold. Who knew my years as a chef would pay off by knowing how to piss off Gordon Ramsay's smiling face with hearts? There we go. This is what I've been looking for. Is there anything that hasn't been microwaved? The salad. Quote. Raw chicken and scallops in ramen noodle water with 10 seasoning packets and no noodles. Add some cut up warm Vienna sausages and I'm in. Overcooked. Unseasoned filet mignon served on a roof tile instead of a plate. Doused in an incredibly overpowering sauce that I thought of in a dream. The meat was cooked last night. Thrown in the fridge on the same tray as raw meat. And then boiled before serving on a stove that hasn't been cleaned in 20 years and has a grease trap that looks like it's filled with crude oil. The side is store-bought frozen ravioli reheated in a microwave with canned ragu. But I told him it's fresh and made in-house. The first course is a salad with improperly washed grilled lettuce, and its dressing is a cultural fusion between two cultures that have no business meeting. The dessert is half a slice of chocolate cake that is clearly from the Cheesecake Factory that I bought a week ago. And I charge him $30 for it. The fork has a bit of dried food stuck to it and there's gum underneath the table. The menu is the length of a Dostoevsky novel. When questioned, I insist that I made everything that morning and pull out photos to prove it. He doesn't believe me. I call him an egocentric liar who doesn't know what he's talking about. As he leaves, I pocket the tip he left for the waiter. A tiny piece of the most delicious food in the universe. He'll be tormented for the rest of his life. Nothing else can compare. Everything tastes like sand compared to that. And he'll never have it again. I was thinking similarly. The best thing Gordon has ever cooked. Or could ever conceivably cook. followed by the most delicious thing Satan could cook, which would be 1,000,000 times more delicious, just to let him see the gap between himself and actual perfection. To be fair, he has spoken with humility about other chefs that he said surpassed him. So I think he'd be able to accept being worse. That never tasting anything that good again might be torment. Though I'd provide him with the best kitchen and the best ingredients. He would be allowed to prepare any one food item of his choosing. This item would be the only thing he could eat for all eternity. Repetition makes the most enjoyable food revolting. He would choose and execute his own hell. An eternity of one meal. Over and over again, set to Nickelback on infinite replay. Welcome, Gordon. Enjoy your stay. One of those savory jello dishes you always see in old cookbooks. One of my neighbor's favorite desserts is lime jello with other green foods in it, including some hidden celery. I didn't have the heart to tell her I'm one of those people who absolutely cannot stand celery. If I, being Satan, could see into his soul deep enough, I would divine his true favorite food, the thing that touches his heart through his stomach. I would craft it from the finest ingredients available from earth. The purest salt, wine of the most excellent vintage, the rarest, most succulent flesh, the richest butter and cream. Whatever it is, whatever his soul food is, I make of it a symphony, a scintillating spectrum of flavors bound with love, a true marriage, a platonic ideal cast in gastronomic chemistry. I would serve it perfectly, in impeccable ambience, an all-encompassing tableau that embodies everything the dish is meant to be. Everything it could be. It would touch him in a way that his soul had not felt since God's loving hands had shaped it since before time began. He would eat it, crying silently, wondering, questing, how could this perfection be? Here in the pit where forsaken things go to be punished for their wanting. I, Satan, would dry his tears, thank him for sharing this experience with me, and I would lead him away, back into my kitchen. He would be once again awestruck, whimpering, vulnerable as he walked my polished aisles, admiring, caressing the flawless cutlery and fixtures. All this is yours now, Gordon. This is your reward. I would present him with my recipe cards, expertly bossed on stock beyond the quality of anything earthly. The first one an exact receipt of the meal he has just savored in the depth of his being. All this is yours now, Gordon. You have an eternity to reach the pinnacle. He runs, laughing, not quite believing. Perhaps this is a place of learning, of repentance. Perhaps he may be allowed to serve. Perhaps he may earn his redemption. Perhaps he may taste of that meal again. He runs, something akin to demiurge filling his mind with light as he plots to reconstruct his soul's perfect dish. The pantry is stocked only with boxed frozen tilapia and expired salad oil. Forever. My ex made dinner once. She replaced wine with grape juice because wine is made of grapes. Right, that's what I'd serve. Pretty much any of my favorite meals. I'm talking processed chicken in a southern fried coating, served with cheap fries, heavily salted while oven cooked. And baked beans with margarine and chili, garlic salt added during cooking. I'm talking mass-produced chicken pies, served with baked beans. I'm talking baked beans cooked with butter and Marmite added when up to temperature, served with 8 slices of cheap bread thickly spread with butter. Dessert, bitch, you getting 2 bananas, awkwardly sliced into a bowl. Custard, here's a teaspoon now. STFU. Breakfast, you getting 4 to 6 slices of cheap toast. Cheap butter spread stuff, salted, with mayonnaise for dipping. Yeah, that's RIGHTTHIS how Satan live. Ramen noodles, but prepped in an old freshman college dorm room in a $20 microwave and with the tap water from the shared dorm bathroom. A plastic fork that was used for last night's Chipotle bowl, and the bowl from said Chipotle bowl. Instead of tap water, warmed up blue light vodka to add a weird sweet flavor he can't quite place until he remembers why he's so hungover. All of his favorite dishes, of course. However, they are all frozen and then blanched in hellfire, so everything is both charred on the outside and raw frozen inside. An almost perfect steak dinner. All would be delicious except for one detail. Maybe it's slightly overdone. But every time he realizes that's the problem. The problem changes to it being perfectly cooked but over-seasoned. He realizes this and it changes to slightly gone off meat, etc., on and on in a cycle. Okay, for starters I'm buying everything from the dollar store. I take some eggs. Whip them with a fork. Add some chili powder, allspice, and a tablespoon of sriracha and microwave them in a Glad container so they come out as a rounded rectangle. Then, on a paper plate, I place this on a bed of iceberg lettuce that I've pulled from near the center of the head. I surround it with some squishy cherry tomatoes cut in half and sprinkle on some generic pre-shredded cheddar cheese. I slice off a slab of Spam and fry it dry, then plunk it down next to the microwaved scrambled egg salad. Hand him a plastic fork. Pour him a cup of Mountain Dew. And say, "Enjoy, chef." Single quote. I mean, it's hell, so every day we prepare and feed him his own recipes, but we replace any proteins with his genitals that are harvested slowly and then grow back in his sleep. I don't really know any of his recipes, so please don't downvote if he's already using his genitals as an ingredient. Everything he likes, so it looks exactly the same. But use 0 spices. He'd have to eat meals that were like his. But were just bland and tasteless. It would break his spirit a lot faster than feeding him a mess of crap. Overcooked Brussels sprouts, he hates them and it haunts him from childhood. On top plain oatmeal because it is boring and bland, every day. Forever. I would give him one of Amber Lynn Reed's soups. The hell is Amber Lynn Reed soup? An unholy coagulation of boiled onions, boiled meat, corn, carrots, chickpeas, green beans, potatoes, lettuce, broccoli, cheese and chicken broth seasoned with garlic powder, garlic and all of the misses. Dash seasonings. He'd have a heart attack. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button. See you next time.